So I've had a lot of people say, hey Josh, why don't you change it up? Why don't you ever shoot the inside of an RV first? And a lot of it is because with the volume of inventory that we process here at Highland RV, I need to be very methodical about how I go things so I don't miss anything. But you know what? Yeah, I'm trying here, guys. I'm going to try to do something different. So 12,670 pounds. This is the open range 374 bunkhouse bath and a half here at Highland RV of Coldwater, Michigan. Understand that this one could be a little different from the one that we have in stock, and the longer this footage stays on the internet, the more outdated it will become. So never hesitate to contact our people here at Highland RV. We're going to start in the living room segment and work our way around. Something I want to draw your attention to immediately is the fact that this is wide body. This is a 100-inch wide body coach versus a standard 8-foot wide body coach. It's 4 inches wider. It doesn't sound like a lot until you get in it. Now, like really in a dramatic effect, adding to that is the fact that this has a 6-inch deeper main slide out. So this is 10 inches wider, almost a foot wider than a normal bunkhouse fifth wheel, than most any fifth wheel actually. Now even a 102 wide body fifth wheel rarely has the 42-inch deep slides that you see here on an open range. So this has really one of the biggest, widest, most expansive living areas that you can get in a towable RV. The lighting in here, all LED, plenty of it, very aggressive. There's even a few lights I don't have on because I don't need them in here. And looking at the ceiling, this actually has wisp ducted air. You've got a standard 15,000 BTU wisp ducted air here. There are options to add second ACs in the bedroom. Most of the time we're going to do that in something like this, but sometimes we will sell out of our 374s very quickly. It's a very popular model. And we're kind of left with, like, hey, whatever you can get us fast, get us that, you know, and that's sort of the situation. So that's why I always recommend you visit the link in our video description to see what we have, how it's equipped, what we're asking, and remember, we don't do hidden dealer fees. So they've made this a very multi-function closet right here. Normally I touch on this in the kitchen, but I don't want to forget about it. So it's a huge pantry. It could be a good broom closet. I like that the shelves actually don't go all the way up to the door. You've got the gap there, so you can hang like a broom there. But if you look down, there's our washer-dryer prep. A lot of washer-dryer preps are in the bedrooms of fifth wheels. I've never liked them there. I know that they're there because it's the most space-efficient place to put them. But you could put a combo down there and still have a pantry. Or you could kill those shelves and go with a stackable. Do whatever you want. Now, this has like, I haven't measured it, but that's like a 7-foot slide out, I think. That's a very tall slide, so it's extra deep, it's extra tall. Now, the extra depth and extra height allows for full overhead storage in the slide without really the loss of anything. Now, this time of year, camera really has trouble processing the light-dark contrast of outside versus inside. So if the footage gets a little grainy from time to time, you know, my apologies. It's just, I'm limited by technology here. Now, this is an optional piece of equipment that we're looking at here. But this is something we try to do in any open range built to our specs as a differentiator, if nothing else. Because, like, I have the same floor plan, really, in a Jayco Eagle, in a Keystone Cougar. We like to have some different offerings here at Highland RV, but they don't always offer the same furniture things. So that's kind of what's nice about being a multi-branded dealership like we are here at Highland RV, is we get to highlight the different benefits of each brand. So this is the full U-Lounge party couch, whatever you want to call it. And it's hyper convertible. Now, I've got it set up very much in a traditional dinette on the left and lounge on the right across from the TV arrangement. But you see this removable pedestal table. As the name implies, it can be removed. Imagine that. So if you want just a giant wide open party lounge, you can do that. If you want dual dinettes, you see that little black post in the middle of the slide for her right there. You can do dual dinettes and actually have more dinette seating space in this than pretty much any other RV. And the middle section here is a hide-a-bed. There's storage below it, and there are dual full extension pull-out drawers under each of those end seats right there. So that's a great place to hide those little dining tables. So it can really convert and become anything you want. Now, it's extra deep, it's extra tall, it has the convertible furniture, and it's completely carpetless. Open Range has a patent. They're the only ones that have carpetless floor flush slides like this. Now, right now, the little flap of material here hanging off the slide, it's super cold at the time of this filming, so it's not wanting to relax. But the moment you start heating the RV, you're going to be fine there. We'll talk more about insulation outside. Electric space heating fireplace, and I like that little toe kick down there. You see how that's actually not all the way down to the floor? Nice little spot to keep your shoes out of the way, everybody. big TV. This has a serious entertainment center directly facing your slide seating here. So it's perfectly positioned, you know, for family entertainment. Now this little corner, every manufacturer has handled this differently, which is one of the things I like about seeing so many different brands here at Haylett. You know, Cougar and Eagle, they've both done this different, and I like how they've all done it. They've all found something cute. This kind of reminds me of like a little knick-knack cabinet, you know, that you might have in your house, but it's actually got shelves in each of those cabinets. Well, I tell you about it when I can show you. Let me pull this open. So, I mean, you've actually got some pretty good storage in there. You can really get quite a bit in that thing. Stepping back here into your private bunk room, because it is a room, not just a bunkhouse, you know, just a couple bunks. So, up here, this is also an extra deep slide that we're looking at. This is another of those 42-inch deep slides, which means a bigger overhead bunk in the slide. And as we look down, you see you've got the handy little eat-and-go dinette. That's something that we really enjoy in our Highland Ridge RVs. I think my battery might be dying on me. I feel like the light should be brighter. Now, one thing I want to point out, too, is all their dinettes, they actually are fully aluminum framed. Anything that Highland builds is going to be aluminum framed. But notice still, no carpet. That's an exceptional benefit here in the bunk area. But this right here is what really makes this floor plan sing. A lot of bunkhouses can do a lot of things, but having a half bath directly built into the kids' room or the guest room, however you're going to utilize this, that is a fact right there that not a lot of brands do. It's a hard thing to find, a bath and a half bunkhouse like this. It's not that Highland Ridge, where's my switch? Highland Ridge is the only one that's ever done it. It's just that they've done it well. The popularity and the very short lifespan this RV has on our shelves here at Haylett RV, meaning, you know, when it comes in, it tends to go out quickly. It demonstrates that. But little things like this, like those extra, I mean, that's a big dresser right there with dual additional dresser drawers down here. The extra storage that Highland is very good about putting into their bunkhouses, it makes a massive difference. Now, you've got another one of those, what I call big kid bunks up top here. That is an extra wide bunk, and it's full length so that, you know, a big, tall kid can actually hang out up there. And you'll notice that they're getting really good about putting, like, plugs for all the kids' devices and whatnot near sleeping areas. You see some up there, you see some down here. And those back cushions right there, those can just pop off real easy. If you want to convert this kind of little bench thing into a bed, you can. And that's another benefit to how they put this together. Most brands, when you get a full-size outside kitchen like you have on the 374 Highland here at Open Range, at Haylett RV, you normally will have to sacrifice a bunk. But with Open Range, you still get 4 bunks as well as the outside kitchen. There we go, the full-size outside kitchen. So just a quick panoramic look, you know, from coming out of the bunkhouse direction. I love all the windows on the door side, and all these windows have MCD blackout night shades, by the way. So they've got like diesel pusher roller shades in them. Up top here in the kitchen, we're going to start from the top, work our way down. I talked about the AC. I like the skylight, letting in that natural ambient light coming in, and there is a wall control switch for that Max Air ceiling fan over there. So you can get some really good airflow. Now, this wall over here, on the opposing wall from what we're looking at, where the washer-dryer prep is, you've got a big pantry. So they just added all kinds of shelf space here and additional counter and drawer space. And that is something they're not hurting on in this. They have like 8 or 9, you know, normal kitchen drawers here. Solid surface countertops, recessed stainless double sink. Now, there are dual sink covers. I've simply pulled one out so you can see the sink more easily. Some people, I can say stainless, but unless they see it, it's like it doesn't mean anything to them. Now, little stuff like this, I call this the pop-out perfect pantry. That's one of my nerdisms here. I like alliteration. I like the sound of things being punchy like that. But the storage comes to you. You don't have to go to the storage. Now, there are different refrigerator options. You know, it never matters how we equip an RV. It always seems like it's the wrong way. But, you know, we do try to offer a little bit of something for everybody. We do a lot of gas-electric refrigerators here at Haylett RV, and there's reasons for it, but there are benefits to a residential fridge as well. So we do like to have offerings on both sides of the fence. It doesn't necessarily matter how we feel. It is your purchase. Now, we will do our job to try to educate you on those differences. And if you're curious, we've done videos on that. You call our guys. We can run you through the differences, but that's an entirely different story for an entirely different day, as, you know, Christopher Robin would be told. Winnie the Pooh reference there for those not picking up. Anyway, big residential size microwave. I like that they have the extra little storage pockets overhead in that because they have extra tall slides. They don't waste anything. I think we're good down here. Let's move upstairs. Little detail stuff too, before I quite get there. I like that the control panel's hidden, and it also has its nice little light right here, so when you open that, the light kicks on. Now, it's like a refrigerator. The light's off when you close the door. At least we think so. No one actually knows, I suppose. And a coat closet right when you walk in the door. That's a hot button item for me. That's something I look for in RVs. Drives me crazy in a big fifth wheel when there's no coat closet by the door. Now, little detail stuff. If you notice that little door stopper down there so that the bathroom door doesn't crush anything. And notice that we also have a dual entry bathroom. You can get to it from either the hallway where I'm at right now, or you can get to it from the bedroom directly. Now, the extra wide body, 4 inches, you can feel it in the entire RV. People all the time will walk in and go, ooh, this feels bigger. And yes, it actually is. You're not just crazy. But this bathroom and this bedroom, the way that they're equipped, would not be possible on a standard body platform. The wide body nature of an open range is what makes these things work. So let me start over here by the fact that we've got all kinds of floor space. You're not going to hurt for floor space in here, whether you're getting dressed, whether you're using the toilet. That way you don't have to do the twist 'em up bathroom toilet yoga. Not my favorite thing to do, I'm sure. Now the shower, one piece fiberglass shower. It's self-reinforced. You can jump up and down in it. Will not hurt it. Now if you're 400 pounds, first of all, most RVs aren't made for you, but if you're, I guess, even an overweight person like I am, I'm a little heavier than I should be, it's fine. Also, nice little corner seat, so if you need to sit to bathe, you can, and that's seamless. Now over here, I really like what they've done. So, I mean, tell me when there's such thing as too many drawers, and the answer is, trick question, there are no such thing as too many drawers. But what there's not a lot of is there's not a lot of counter space around the sink, and you need a spot to put, like, you know, a blow dry or something if you're using it. Well, they thought of that. They make the countertop come to you. They've also got this nice little alcove and big, like, towel cabinet right up here. It's almost got like a laundry room feel to it in a sense. And then you can just close everything up, get it out of the way, and have a nice, clear, wide open walkthrough. Let me close this door real quick. Now, one thing that is a little bit newer at the time of this filming is the handy little LCI touchpad right here. Oops, I bumped it twice. Now, this can do all kinds of different stuff. You can operate leveling. You can do a lot of different functions from this. But what's neat is you can also Bluetooth your phone to it, and anything you can do on here, you can do off your phone. So if you want to be outside and level your RV, you can do that there. Yeah, right there, battery monitor. I am getting low. Well, that's cool. Now I know. So, this one is outfitted with a second air conditioner. Remember, not every one of these is going to be outfitted with a second air conditioner from our facility. This is how we would prefer to build them, but we do, like I said, exhaust our supply quicker than it can be replenished sometimes, and we have to kind of settle for what we can get quickly. Dual side stands here. Now, this is a king bed. This is a full 70 by 80 king bed, but it's not in a east-west bed slide. It's in a north-south bed. You can't normally do that in an 8-foot wide platform unless you either put the bed against the wall and it's now a corner bed that you can't walk around, or you have about this much room to walk around both sides of the bed, and nobody likes that. That doesn't work. That's worthless. Being wider body, they can go with a full walk around 70 by 80 king bed. There's storage below, but here's the kicker. They still have a very deep closet slide over here, and if you're doing the math and looking, there's not enough of a gap there for that slide to fully come in. The whole bed glides over. The slide will actually push it over. When you get to your destination, you just nudge it with your knees or shins, or you grab that side and pull it out real quick, and ta-da! Walk around king bed again. But what's great is how it's such a simple system. There's not a motor. There's nothing that can fail. It just slides. It's on little Teflon-like slider plates, basically, with aluminum runners. It's great. Now, both sides of the bed, you notice, have USB and household outlets. So no matter what you have in here, you're going to be good. I do like the full good overhead storage in here. There are TV hookups on the wall across from what we're currently looking at, so on the camp side. But I wanted you to get a nice look at the closet in here. I think we pretty much nailed it. Let's step outside and take a walk around. So just like the inside, there are a lot of very uncommon, unique qualities about the exterior of an open range RV. I preached the wide body nature and the extra deep 42-inch slides, your main seating and bunk slides. Already talked a lot about that. So I'm going to try not to repeat myself. Again, I'm breaking my normal order of operation, so I might be a little bit redundant. So if you're looking for the time in both London and England, maybe this would be a good time to check it. Let's look at this propane arrangement, because you're looking at this, you're going, no freaking way. This big fifth wheel has just just 20-pound tanks? No way. And you're right, it doesn't have just 20-pound tanks, it has 3 20-pound tanks. And they do that instead of 2 30-pound tanks. It costs a little more money. There's more labor time and everything involved. That's, you know, it's not for the goal of being cheaper. This costs more money to do that. But it's also much, much easier to exchange, and it does allow for the ability to add another tank. This RV can accept the connections. So why don't they do that from the factory? Because they're not allowed to as a manufacturer, but you are legally allowed to as an owner. Figure that out. Outside TV hookups down here. Now, this big wall, that's like an access wall to get to like furnace and water heater type stuff, like mechanical stuff. But it's kind of hidden out of the way, and it's protected from cargo shift. You saw the TV hookups, the TV cables can actually slot right through there. And you see a matching little porthole on the bottom side because this is fully skirted. So your trailer wrap metal skirting actually wraps all the way around to the I-beam, and that leads me into the fact that this is quite possibly the single best insulated thing in its class. That's a lot of guys want to talk about R values. So that you guys know, there is no such thing as an R52 roof. I don't care how badly a manufacturer wants you to believe that. That is not true. R52 roofing does not exist. That's a calculated factor. That is not how R values actually work. I don't really care what the R value number is. And you're going to think I'm crazy. Neither do you. And here's why I say that. Do you care what number is in a brochure? Or do you care how hot or cold your RV actually is? Because I think the end goal here is you actually care about how hot or cold your RV is. Open range, like Jayco does this. They're one of the few brands. Some of the Keystones do it, not all, but some. They actually cold chamber their RVs, 0 to 100 degree testing. When the slide, and here's another thing, you got to watch the manufacturers. They might say tested. They won't say proven. They won't publish data. Open Range has published data on this. In a 0 degree cold camp scenario with the furnace set on 70 and the slides open, which is another factor you have to check on, this maintains 62 degrees in the underbelly. That's unsurpassed. I've not seen anyone publish better data. Jayco's super close at 58 degrees. But after that, it falls down into the 40s. So, you know, whatever you're... Now, maybe you don't care. Maybe you don't care about cold camping. Understand that that also benefits you in a hot camp situation. So there's never a drawback to it. I do like how they have their front cavity set up here. It's big and wide open, and a 50 amp coach like this should have 2 batteries. And when you purchase with Highland RV, part of our no fees, no dealer fees thing is that it includes 2 batteries at our published price tags. You know, this RV has some shipping dirt on it from the road. You don't pay extra to get that cleaned. You don't pay extra for propane fill or water hose or anything like that. That stuff's included here, guys. Don't ever let somebody ding you for that crap. That's just shady business. So the strong arm stabilizer bars, with this being wide body and super deep slides, it could be tipsy. So they add these bars to the front and rear stabilizers so that those little T-handles, you give that like a half or quarter turn and it locks down in place, and this ain't going anywhere. It absolutely makes the, like, if you've ever seen people have tripods for their kingpin, it completely obsoletes that thing. Little differences like this, again, everything on this is just a touch different. Instead of a baggage door that flips up with a strut that can break that you have to duck under, they just make it flip down. It's still a slam latch, you know. This is just easier to navigate. You can see your enclosed heated protecting docking center, part of that insulation package. Easy access to things like a battery disconnect, to your fridge inverter if present, to the auto leveling. You've got your 10-gallon vessel water heater right here. You know, they make this simple. Now, one of the things they do different, back to the insulation topic as long as we're walking here, 16-inch radial tires, by the way, with a Eque-Flex rubber shock dampening suspension standard. Sorry, I saw something shiny. Anyway, one of the things they do different, and they're not the only ones, but they were the first, and they're still one of the very few to do it, is the fact that they have a cyclical heating system in the underbelly. Most brands will have, I mean, I don't really know of many fifth wheels that don't have a forced air heated underbelly package. It's exceptionally uncommon if they don't. However, most brands have encapsulated heating underbellies. So once you push heat into it, that air can't recycle out, and it still heats, but not as well. Well, there's a forced air heat duct that goes in the underbelly of this, and then there's a hot air return that actually goes up and heats your bathroom floor, so you have constant cyclical airflow. The air conditioning system on this runs on the same principle, basically, guys. The screw trim, you have aluminum corner screw trim on this instead of plastic screw trim. So right here, where the walls meet, or like under the gooseneck area, under your bedroom, they're using a higher grade material because it is more resistant to heat expansion and contraction, and it's not likely to cause a seam failure and fall apart. The roofing on an open range is different. They have a 15-year guaranteed PVC roof membrane. You guys need to understand, what I did not just say is this does not have a 15-year roof warranty. I said the roof material, the skin itself, that manufacturer offers a 15-year warranty on that. This is an important distinction because there are snake oil gypsy salesmen out there who want to tell you that, oh, our roof has a 12 or 15-year warranty. If that is all they say, without explaining it and quantifying it like I just have, you need to run, not walk away from that guy, because he will say anything to you to get your business. If someone's willing to lie once, even a half lie, they're willing to lie all the way the next time. We all know that's true. We've all lived enough life. So that is the kind of stuff you really got to watch out for there, guys. You always have seals you need to maintain. Always consider these things. You know, I would rather shoot you straight. I would rather always be on the forefront of things. I don't sell on false pretense. We don't do that here at Highland RV. That is principles that are instilled in us here by our management team. We want to earn your business, not trick you into buying here. There, again, full-size outside kitchen, but remember, we still maintain 4 interior bunks, which is a unique combination of things. Not unique, but rare. They have a different outside stove arrangement, actually. There's almost no one else that does anything like this I've seen. Now, there's different outside grill and stovetops and stuff, but what you've got here is just like inside. You've got a high output burner and a pair of low output burners. So you can do really the same cooking out here that you can do inside. But notice even the drawers out here, they're all plywood boxed, they're full extension. You've got the rolled steel countertops. Thank you for folks at home helping me remember that, because man, I've struggled with that for years. It looks like I finally got it. And a real sink. A real sink, not the dog dish. There's nothing wrong with the dog dish, and it does have a couple little benefits, but I think most people would prefer to have a real sink that just has a real drain. Now, this is prepped. If you want to put a nice little thin flat screen up here, you can do that, but it's also just a nice big extra cabinet. And again, tell me when more storage is ever the wrong answer. It never is. It's a trick question. Dual power awnings with protective awning wrap on them. So some awnings have a metallic enclosure. They're not doing that here. If you get really close to these, and it's hard to pick up from my video, guys, but if you get close to these, you can actually see where they have like this really shiny wrap on like the first 12 inches of the awning. What that's doing is it's like squeezing, protecting, and compressing the actual awning from weather exposure, rain, snow, ice, whatever. I tell you what, we went a lot longer here than I necessarily intended to, but there's a lot to learn on one of these. That's the thing with open range. Fun little factoid. This has nothing to do with anything else. But the actual open range logo, when you see it right here, long time ago, there was a fella who had a family-owned business who did like graphical design. Some brands would outsource graphical design to him. And this is his handwriting. He came up with that. Well, he later went into the manufacturing business and became the product developer for Wildcat, and now the product developer for Jayco. So the guy who develops the Jayco Eagle, his handwriting is literally on the side of every open range. I just think that's a cool and funny factoid. You guys probably don't care, but that's why I saved it for the end of the video. So if you have enjoyed what we've done here, if you appreciate what we've done here, all I ask is you visit the link in the video description, call our team, share, subscribe, whatever, but share a little bit of that love if you appreciate what we do here. And with that, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.